fan of pro wrestling, I'm enjoying the longer build-up towards the Royal Rumble rather than just having a pay-per-view every 2 or 3 weeks, so it's nice that they've got time to develop things. I enjoyed this week's Raw and it added quite a few people into the Royal Rumble match, as well as developing the Universal Championship match too. Heading into the show, we've got Goldberg's return advertised, as well as the last man standing match between Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. Oh dear, someone's let Mick Foley out to the ring with a microphone on his own. Well, at least Steph's taken him to the pet groomers this week. People are saying he's looking pretty dapper, but I personally think he looks like that pet's gone to the vets for his last visit. Yeah, sorry, just let him stay at home for fuck's sake, and let him just live in his Christmas room for a bit. Anyway, he plugs the Royal Rumble and the Shark Cage match. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens come out and they piss and moan for a bit, and then Foley says he sees their side and decides to give Kevin Owens his own talk show, and his first guest tonight will be Bill Goldberg. Jerry KO calls shenanigans and then Steph comes out, but she says Foley's all good, so Kevin Owens chucks his teddy bear out the pram and just pisses and moans even more. Stephanie then makes a match between Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho tonight for the US Championship, and there must be a winner, meaning if Roman's disqualified or counted out, the title changes hands. Mick Foley's brain completely fucking melts and he tries to ban Chris Jericho from the match. Nice one, just let him go home, fucking hell. And then Stephanie sulks about SmackDown winning the ratings. Here's a tip, love, stop fucking advertising their shit on your shows and then blaming your talent, Jesus fucking Christ. And then finally, before she pisses off, she makes a match between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, and the loser of that match will be banned from ringside from the US title match as well. Straight after that, we've got the match between Rollins and Owens. Decent match, nothing really special to report, but great work from both of them as always. Owens ended up leading Rollins outside and hit him in the gut with the ring bell. As he tried to capitalise in the ring, Rollins reversed it, was about to hit the pedigree, until Owens slithered out the ring and escaped. This now means that Kevin Owens banned from ringside during the US title match later on between Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho. Whoops, nearly Cesaro, nearly. Sheamus joins the commentary team as Cesaro faces Carl Anderson in a one-on-one match. Luke Gallows gets involved the first time, so Sheamus joins everyone at ringside. The second time Gallows gets involved, Sheamus is at hand to dispose of him, but this knocks Cesaro off the top rope, allowing Anderson to finish him off and get the 3. It's been a long time coming for Gallows and Anderson to actually start looking a bit tough and getting wins against decent people, not just feuding with R-Truth and Goldust. So this is all good stuff to me. We're shown a little replay of the Braun Strowman-Sami Zayn feud, and then Strowman heads to the ring for the last man standing match next. And then bloody hell, it didn't take him long to whip that up, did it? We get a nice visual aid for the Kevin Owens show later on with Bill Goldberg as the guest, which was preceded by a little trailer. Well, I say a little, it lasted longer than the actual match, but a little flashback of the match between Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Now we move on to Sami Zayn's funeral, aka the last man standing match with Braun Strowman, in which Braun Strowman knocked him around for a while. Zayn kept finding weapons, but he managed to get little offence in. They end up fighting in the backstage, where Sami Zayn finds a lead pipe. I'd say lead pipe, it looked pretty plastic to me, and started swinging chairs at him. This spilled them back out to the staging area. Zayn set up Strowman on the edge and dove into him, and they both landed on tables on the floor. Strowman raged out, dragged Zayn back to ringside. He took 2 running power slams to the outside to put Zayn away, but Willy Wonky Nose won in the end. They should have booked Lesnar and Ambrose from WrestleMania more like this. Although Strowman didn't look in danger at any point, Zayn still took quite a beating. It took quite a lot for him to stay down. At WrestleMania it just seemed like Lesnar hit one F5 after giving him a few German suplexes and Ambrose was done. I thought it made Ambrose look pretty shitty and I didn't like it. Anyway, after the match, Nurse Foley comes down to check on Sami Zayn. They put him on a stretcher, and Strowman just plows through the stretcher and sends it flying and then drops Zayn again on the outside. And Strowman's going to have got himself into bother for not putting his straps down, showing nips, and just ad-libbed some fucking ashes to ashes, dust to dust line. Daddy Vince will not be happy. WWE saved me some time now by giving me some highlights from 205 Live, which from what I can see a very entertaining segment between Jack Gallagher and Rhea Daivari with their gentleman's duel. But now that Raw showed me highlights of it, I don't need to watch the whole bloody thing. Cheers, mates. Sticking with the theme of Jack Gallagher, he's on Raw and he's hanging out with the New Day in the locker room. He's showing them a few of his fencing moves. New Day obviously getting as many penis jokes as possible, and we move on. The network promotes the new show Bring It to the Table, which follows Raw tonight, where JBL and Paul Heyman will be asked questions by the WWE Universe. Now we've got the New Day out and they're up to the usual tricks of singing, dancing, laughing, joking around. Titus O'Neil comes out, sadly, and he wants to join the New Day. He panders to them a bit, but, they just put him down. And then Titus mocks Xavier, saying that he's the weakest link. So Xavier puffs his chest out, gets in his face and challenges him to a match. Titus cheap shots Xavier, and the match goes on next after the break. And Xavier left Titus gobsmacked after he outsmarted him and rolled him up for the pin. Just a nice quick match showing that the apparent weakest link in the New Day isn't weak at all. Good stuff. Stephanie McMahon has a bit of a weird weekly ritual where she likes to take and send dick pics to all her male employees. This ensures that they all know the place and that none of them get snappy with her. Bailey wanders in, but she doesn't really get the whole dick pic thing, so that obviously gets Steph's back up. Stephanie said that she doesn't like Bailey, but Bailey does her best John Cena impression, you know, never give up and all that. So then Stephanie books a match between Bailey and Nia Jax. Noam Dar oozes creepiness in front of Cedric Alexander and Alicia Fox backstage. Yeah, he's quite good at being a slimy little prick. Austin Aries and the Cruiserweights are back as Drew Gulak faces Cedric Alexander. Tony Nese is on the outside for Gulak and he causes a distraction, which lets Gulak roll up and get the tights, leaving Alicia Fox and Cedric Alexander looking very disappointed. Kevin Owens gives Chris Jericho a good luck hug before his match against Roman Reigns. He feels a bit bad because he can't come and help because he lost against Seth Rollins earlier. Surprisingly enough, Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho was a pretty good match. Reigns just did his usual strongman thing and Jericho did his usual heelish antics. He even tried to pull the old Eddie Guerrero, leave the belt in the other person's hand whilst laying yourself out. You know, he obviously checked on the referee every time his back was turned, which was just funny. That didn't work, so he tried a codebreaker out of nowhere, but that only got a 2. He tried exposing the turnbuckle, but then that eventually backfired on him, and that gave Roman the opportunity to hit the spear, and it was done. Thanks very much WWE, yet even more time you've just saved me. We get a recap of Neville destroying Rich Swann in a non-title match, and then even more after the match. Good stuff. We get another dose of Austin Aries tonight, and the WWE production team are really getting over the fact that they've got rid of the belt on TJ Perkins' Titantron entrance rampway thing, after they had it on there for about 3 years after he lost the belt, so, you know. Perkins is in a match against the Brian Kendrick. It's not a bad match, like wrestling-wise, it's just same old shit, we've seen these two loads. He ends it with a knee bar, Neville watches on in the back, enough said really. Like I said a few weeks ago regarding the UK Championship, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. At the moment I'm leaning towards it being a good thing for both just, you know, wrestlers and the British wrestling scene. So, fingers crossed. The two stupid dogs are spotted heading to ringside. Joy. Yeah, no thanks love, peddle your fucking wares elsewhere. Do one. What a fantastic day and age we fucking live in. I love this place. Rusev and Ninja Mahal are already out in the ring. Something for the kids, i.e. Enzo Amore, comes out, followed by something for Vince McMahon's wank bank, as in Big Kaz. The big man scares off the two dirty foreigners and everybody's happy, or Vince is happy, or I don't give a fuck. Something tells me Vince McMahon came a little too early during that last man standing match with Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn. He was so disappointed he forced Kevin Dunn to replay the highlight package from the match. Oh yeah, so it's Perkins versus Neville at 205 Live. I might actually... nah, fuck off, I'm not watching that. I don't need to, you're going to show me what happened anyway next week. Nah. Right, before we get into Nia Jax versus Bailey, can I just ask, what the fuck is that with Bailey? Look at that. What the fuck's going on? Come on, that's just fucking horrid now. It's taking the piss. During the match, Charlotte was at the commentator's table, and I just wish she'd shut up for a bit and just watch the match and maybe learn some wrestling. Nia was up on the second rope, looked like she was going for a leg drop. Sasha Banks came out and distracted her. Bailey skipped up, hit the Bailey to belly, and got the 3 count. Obviously everyone did little poses and smug smiles, and we just got all diva-y again. But can they just work more on like the matches now, and just mixing things up a little bit more with other lasses on the roster, and less blah 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 blah. Otherwise you may as well just get fucking Ronda Rousey to come in, literally kill them all, take the belt away in her mouth and just never see her have a title ever again. And I'll be perfectly happy with that the way the Raw Women's division's gone. Well, that didn't take fucking long, did it? SmackDown beat Raw once in the ratings, and then Raw get The Undertaker to come on the show next week. Good stuff. Oh, and yep, Shawn Michaels as well. Fucking hell. If you didn't advertise SmackDown on Raw, you wouldn't have this fucking problem. I and other people have been telling you this for fucking ages. You do it to yourself, you do, and that's what really hurts. Is you do it to yourself, just you and no one else. Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho and a minimalistic set are what we're given with the Kevin Owens show tonight. Owens spends quite a bit of time introducing his main guest, and that's obviously Chris Jericho and not Bill Goldberg. Yeah, the fans didn't like that either. Jericho starts putting folk on the list, and then he says he's got some news. He's in the Royal Rumble this year. Kevin Owens objects to this, only briefly, then Goldberg comes out and gets in Kevin Owens' face. He says he looks forward to Mania because it's going to beat him easily and he's going to win the Royal Rumble. That obviously triggers everybody's interruptions, and we start with Paul Heyman coming out on behalf of Brock Lesnar. After Heyman says that Brock's going to win the Rumble, Roman Reigns cuts them off and he comes out. He says the Rumble will be easy, and then he looks forward to facing Goldberg at the Rumble because he's obviously his favourite. Vince really has stocked up on his wank bank material for the year, with Reigns and Goldberg getting in each other's faces as well. Oh, and speaking of which, they get cut off by... that's right, it's Braun fucking Strowman, Vince's new favourite. He comes down and takes Paul Heyman's microphone, and Heyman's just brilliant, cowering in front of everybody. Braun gets in the ring, but then he gets double speared. And the Spirit Squad stare at each other once more, and they both pose as Raw goes off the air, and Vince finishes once again. Ugh. And that's me done for another week. If you'd like to comment, please follow the link in the description to the Botchmania site and do so there. If you prefer Twitter, I can be found at Blunt Damage. If you like my theme music, the band are The Colour Fire, and they can be found at www.thecolourfire.com. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.